All right, everybody, welcome back to the realm. We've got the chapter 22 live review tonight. So we do have the quiz tomorrow. Do my best to get you ready. Let me know that you're here in the comments. Go ahead and like this video. That'll help me out on the YouTube algorithms, but that's not that important. But go ahead and put yourself into the comments. Make sure that you're representing. If you're not able to get into the chat because your YouTube won't let you, then at least let a friend know to check you in so that I have you on record. From there, before we get into the live agenda, I just want to remind you that chapter 22 is about two big picture things. Number one, the scientific revolution, and number two, the Enlightenment. Both really big parts of the AP world. What the Enlightenment thinkers talked about, a la John Locke, Montesquieu, Rousseau, Voltaire, that led into the American Revolution. And so that's why the American Revolution was situated at the end of the chapter. Okay, so a little bit of agenda tonight. Number one, some key advice, like always. Number two, we'll go over some key figures that, like I said today in class, this chapter is really predicated on the key figures. Number three, we got some AP clues coming your way, just a few, nothing crazy, just a few clues. And then number four, we got the Realm Hunger Games. We'll revisit who our representatives are here in a minute. And then number five, question and answer session. And we kind of can go from there. Let's get into the key advice. Hey, just because it's a 20 question content version doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. So I'm always here to challenge you. That's my big picture goal. I think challenges are good. Number one, I think you need to study your notes from the chapter. Make sure you read through all your outlines. Don't forget that you got two handouts, one at the end of chapter 22, section 1, and one for chapter 22, section 3. And also don't forget that section 1 of chapter 21 is involved in this chapter as well. So got to make sure you get those things done. Listen, make sure you study off the review sheet, right? That's why I make you do it on a separate sheet of paper so that you can study and quiz yourself. Furthermore, I think what's most important is pray for the right things. Really don't need to pray for success on this quiz, but rather understand that there are so many more important things that you should be praying for. Pray for the health and safety of yourself and your family. Pray for the good Lord's guidance to use your talents to the fullest on this quiz. I think that's what you really need to think about. Next, pray the prayer of gratitude, right? You are so blessed. Make sure you thank the good Lord for all those blessings. And I think, that's the most important thing that I can tell you, the most important piece of advice right there. Number three, make sure you be here now. You are lacking focus lately. You have so many things going on. The weather is going to be getting nice. I don't know, tomorrow might be a little snowy, but you gotta keep focused. There's so much goofballing going on in the school. I look outside my window and I just see, I don't know. It just seems like what's going on here? Is this kindergarten or is this recess? I don't know. But when you come into my classroom, I'm expecting you to be rather focused and being here now, focused on the task at hand, especially on quiz day, but every single day. And be respectful to your teachers to help them out. Be the leaders in your classes. Don't be the ones that are running around hooting and hollering and whatever, but be the ones who are there to lead. Now, make sure you say thank you to your parents. They do a lot for you. They drive you around everywhere. They're making sure you stay on the right path. So make sure that you say thank you to your parents. If you need to stop what you're doing right now and go do that, tell you love them, tell them that you're grateful for them. You need to make sure that you do that. Life is short and time goes by really fast. So don't miss those opportunities to do that. Then finally, tomorrow's a challenge. Don't be skipping out. Don't take the sign of weakness. Okay. Don't be skipping school. You already got a bunch of things going on. So make sure that you're there, rise to the occasion, meet the challenge, put in the work, put in the effort, and get this quiz out of the way, and keep matriculating forward in your academic career. Okay, next, we're going to get into the selected key figures. We're going to start right off with Isaac Newton, okay? Isaac Newton, he's the first person on your review sheet, created a theory of motion known as universal gravitation. What is that, you might say? Well, universal gravitation is basically the idea or law that everything in the universe, every object in the universe attracts every other object. And the degree of attraction, though, depends on the distance between the two objects and, of course, the size or uh, the size or the mass of the objects that are in question. Next is Francis Bacon. A lot of questions about Francis Bacon today. Has nothing to do with the food. Okay, so stop saying that. Has nothing to do with that. Just his last name. Francis Bacon is a proponent of the experimental method. He believed that scholars should conduct experiments and draw conclusions from them. Next is your guy Copernicus. He believed that the sun was the center of the universe, which we know as our solar system today, but this is called the heliocentric theory. And like I taught you in class, he didn't publish his beliefs until 1543 when he was near death, and he feared that he was going to be persecuted by the church if he were to release his viewpoints, because it went against what the church was teaching at the time. The church believed in the geocentric theory. Next is René Descartes. He urged scientists to rely on mathematics and logic to find truths. He taught that, hey, everything should be doubted until proven through reason. His famous quote was, "I think, therefore I am." So he was certain of his own existence, but he felt like everything else needed to be proven through mathematics and or logic, which is reasoning. Next is Galileo. Galileo Galilei was one that agreed with Copernicus on the heliocentric theory. He was much more public about his beliefs, and the church eventually put him on trial. He had to recant his statements, and then he was placed on house arrest for the duration of his life, which means didn't really have all the freedoms that he once had before. Next is a key female named Mary Wollstonecraft, believed that women should be educated and have the same political rights as men. Next is Beccaria. Cesare Bonassare Beccaria was an Italian. He fought for criminal justice and was against torture and also capital punishment. Next is Montesquieu, full name Baron de Montesquieu. His real name wasn't Baron. It meant he was a baron, which is kind of like a duke or a count, somebody who controls a large area of land, very wealthy. Montesquieu proposed that government systems should have a separation of powers, which is known today as checks and balances. He really admired the British system known as constitutional monarchy, where there was a king or a queen, but they were limited by a constitution which granted citizens certain rights. Next is your boy Rousseau. Rousseau was very unique. He actually disagreed with most other Enlightenment thinkers. He was a proponent of individual freedoms, and he wanted very limited government. He believed that it was actually civilization, rules and laws and such that actually corrupted people's natural goodness. So he wanted very limited government involvement in people's lives. Next is Voltaire. Voltaire used a style of writing called satire to attack opponents. This got him into a great deal of trouble. He was fighting for tolerance, reasoning, freedom of religion, and freedom of speech. He says, hey, I do not agree with a word that you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That was Voltaire, French philosopher. John Locke was from England. Locke believed that, hey, people are born with three natural rights: life, liberty, property. And government's only job is to protect those natural rights. And he said if government doesn't protect those natural rights, then the people should overthrow the government. This led to the American Revolution. This ideology led to the French Revolution as well. Before Locke, though, there was a guy named Hobbes. Hobbes believed that humans were generally selfish, generally wicked, and therefore they need a strong government to keep order. He proposed a social contract where, because people are selfish and wicked, they have to give up some of their rights to a strong ruler in exchange for law and order. So he believed in strong government power. Locke limited government. He says government only is responsible for protecting your rights. Hobbes says no, government should be as powerful as a sea monster. And that's why he wrote the famous book called Leviathan, which is a sea monster. Next is the key ruler, Joseph II. Joseph II was the ruler of Austria. He utilized some of the Enlightenment ideas. For example, he fought to abolish serfdom, get rid of feudalism, temporarily in Austria. Unfortunately, after he died, the nobles and lords, they went back to a state of feudalism. Similar to Joseph II, you had Frederick the Great, who ruled a region called Prussia. And Prussia, he ruled it as an Enlightenment despot. So he also took some of those Enlightenment ideas like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and applied them to Prussia. There was one more mentioned in the book. Her name was Catherine the Great. She was an enlightened ruler in Russia. Next is your guy, Denis Diderot. Denis Diderot, some people call him Diderot. Either way, he created the first encyclopedia. Next is Marie-Therese Joffrin. She ran the most influential salon in Paris and also funded the Diderot Encyclopedia project. We had a slide of her salon as a painting today in class. All right, so let's talk about AP information, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about a couple of clues. Number one, there are not going to be any comprehension questions written by me on this week's quiz. I'll give you a break from those, but there will be a 3-question MCQ. So there will be a prompt for the MCQ, and then there will be a SAQ based off of a prompt. Here's the clues I'm going to give you. In the AMSCO reading, there was a really important section on feminism and females trying to fight for equality even during the Enlightenment period, which really, even though these Enlightenment thinkers were talking about all these rights and freedoms that people should have, they weren't willing to extend those out to women. So your first prompt is going to come from Mary Wollstonecraft. We learned about her. So she will be the topic of the first prompt for the MCQs, okay? And there'll be 3 questions regarding that prompt. And then the second prompt will be for the SAQ. That's going to be from an American woman named Abigail Adams. She's the wife of John Adams. And she is also writing about females and different rights and freedoms. And she's representing the newly formed American colonies and the United States of America after the Declaration of Independence. And so feminism, females' rights, new country of the Americas, the United States. Those are all some of the key things to focus on from the AMSCO reading, topic 5.1. All right, I'll get to who's here and checking in everybody in just a moment, and we'll get to question and answers. But first, we need to play the Realm Hunger Games. All right, we've got representatives from each class. I'll read off the representatives in second hour. So these are the only people who can answer questions, no exceptions. So if you're not one of these people, please do not be spamming the chat, right? Because we're not looking for your answers. It doesn't count anyway. So only these young men and women that I call out will be acceptable responders. In second hour, representatives would be Luke Sal and Duke B. In third hour, we got Jeremy B. and John B. In fifth hour, we got E. Marsh and T. Oates. Sixth hour, we got S. Ross and Carly S. Seventh hour, we got Maddie N. and O. Rust. And eighth hour, we got Luke H. and Jude K. I am going to make a prediction. I'm thinking tonight the winner falls between fifth and seventh hour. I like the selections there in fifth, sixth, and seventh hour. We know that second and third hour are always in the competition. Eighth hour's got 2 new ballers, and I think it could get interesting. Eighth hour has a shot today. They've picked 2 brand new ballers for this Realm Hunger Games. So here we go. Now I want to give you a couple of clues. The first thing is you need to listen carefully to the question. I'm only going to say it one time. I'm not going to have the question on the screen. If it's about a key figure, last names are fine. Last names are totally fine. If it asks about a key figure. All right, I'm going to go to the comments right now. And hey, also, doesn't matter what's on your screen. The only thing that matters is what shows up on my screen first. Okay, so I am the judge and the master of this realm, and we'll pick accordingly here. Okay, question number 1. Everyone is ready. The only people that are going to respond are those that are participating tonight in the Hunger Games, representing their class. Here we go. Number 1. Which philosopher fought for criminal justice? Yeah, something like that. I am looking at the chat right now, waiting to see what the responders have. Looks like we got, hold on, let me check this out. Looks like right now coming in first is Carly with Beccaria. That is correct. Carly representing sixth hour. That's a point for sixth hour. Well done, Carly. Balling out of control. All right. So looks like a lot of the answers are coming in later, but yes, Carly was the first to mention Beccaria. Well played. And now resetting our focus to question number 2. This is really fun. This is the highlight of the review tonight. Number 2. Yeah, something like that. Here we go. Number 2. This key thinker is known for doubting everything until proven by reason. Yeah, something like that, dude. I'm actively watching the chat. See who comes in this one. 6 hours in the lead. Okay, here on this time, we got Luke Sal with Rene Descartes, and that is correct. Luke Sal representing second hour, so a point goes to second hour. Close battle. A lot of other ones came in there at a very close time as well. Okay, so right now we're tied 1-1, second hour and sixth hour. Here we go. Question number 3. Question number 3 is, this is an author that wrote about how females deserve the same education as males. Yes, indeed. Jeremy B. Wollstonecraft is correct. I see. I'm going to double check that. Let me double check that. Yeah, Jeremy B. came in first with Mary Wollstonecraft. So that goes to a point for third hour. We got a 3-way tie. Second hour's got 1. Third hour's got 1. Sixth hour has 1 point. Seventh hour, eighth hour, and fifth hour, blank. All right, so here we go. Question number 4. This is going to get interesting. See who can take the lead here. Number 4. This was a conglomeration of articles by scientists, philosophers, and other thinkers put together by Denis Diderot. Just looking at the comments, waiting for them to pop in. And we got, hold on a second. We got, let me look up here. Jeremy B came in first with Encyclopedia. Jeremy B representing third hour. That's 2 points for third hour with 1 question to go. Could somebody tie it, or could third hour end it with a win here? If any other hour that hasn't scored a point gets it first, then third hour will be the victors. So here is the final question in the Realm Hunger Games Chapter 22 edition. Here we go. Question number 5. This thinker used satire to attack his opponents in writing. All right, I'm actively watching the chat. Start thinking about your questions. Oh, we got some popping in here. Oh, it looks like Jeremy B is first with Voltaire, and that is the correct answer. Third hour takes the victory with 3 questions. Second hour had 1 correct, and sixth hour with 1 correct. Game, set, and match in the Realm Hunger Games goes to third hour, led by Master Jeremy B, getting it done tonight. Okay, at this time, we're going to go back to the banners here, and we've got question and answer session. So I'm ready for any questions that you might have. Some of the questions I'll be more detailed in my answers than I will in others. Some of them I might say, well, it's not really on the quiz, so don't worry about it too much. But let's go ahead to the comments and see what we got. Okay. Third hour gets the +1. Oh no! Now this is not nice. Oh no, we don't want to break up friendships over this Hunger Games. Come on now. Go ahead and hit me up with some questions here. Let's get those questions answered for you. We've been on for 20 minutes. I promised you, hey, it's Valentine's Day. You might have some date or something. Well, probably not, but No, but all jokes aside, let me know what your questions are. Take about 5-10 minutes and cover those for you. A lot of shout outs. Okay, here we go. We got a real question right here. For the short answer, do we need to know the main ideas of the Enlightenment? Well, the philosoph concepts, I think, would be one of the one of the actual things to know there, Gia. There's not going to be any short answer on the content portion, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. But knowing the philosoph concepts, I think, could help you on a matching or a multiple choice. Uh, oh, well, I don't think so, but could be. Okay, let's see. Oh, so with the five philosoph concepts, you want to know, hey, what's reasoning, happiness, right? Progress, you want to know what those five concepts are. Yes, Maddie. So in the notes for the scientific revolution, which was chapter 22, section 1, I had on the board on the right side of class, I had key date, key invention, key inventor, right? So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to make sure that you know some of those inventions and who invented them and about when they took place. Other questions? I am ready. Olivia and Gia are really good friends, but they are going back and forth here. Girls, don't get mad at each other over the game, okay? It's not that deep. I just want you guys to get along. Just want you guys to get along. Well, there's not going to be any, like, I promised you guys that I wouldn't give you any specific dates, but knowing the date, like, would help you kind of put things in perspective, right? So this is a good question. Abigail Adams is not actually in the AP. You might have to do some research on her. The excerpt's just going to be written by her, and a lot of the excerpts are from people that you've never heard of. So you might want to do some research about who Abigail Adams is. She was a female, and she was pretty famous in the United States in its early days. So that's one thing. That's one thing that you can kind of bank on. Wollstonecraft is mentioned in the AMSCO. Okay. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, I stopped saying that because I didn't know. I thought she was kind of upset with me or something about that. So I didn't. I stopped saying the special, but I do see the comments. Yeah, and Novi's still still above Commerce for sure, in my opinion, and West Bloomfield also. But I'm a Novi fan. Okay, same thing, right? I agree. Any real questions though in the comments? Hit me up and let me know what you need. Otherwise, um, we we will we will just we'll just go ahead and close it off. And this is really funny. This is really funny. Well, what can you say? What can you say? Um, no, Novi is not Livonia. Let's get that straight. Livonia has a mall. They have the Laurel Park Mall, which has only about 5 stores. Novi's got a real mall, and we got a lot of other stuff, a lot of great restaurants in Novi. So I don't think there's much of a comparison there. A lot of farms and cider mills and stuff like that in Commerce. A couple bagel joints, nothing much else. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm just joking. Anybody else have a real question though for the comment section? Okay, well, if there aren't any more questions, I really want to say I appreciate you joining tonight. Hopefully, you'll be ready for the quiz tomorrow. Make sure you study up. Make sure you say thank you to your parents, and please be respectful to your teachers and try to behave in school. You know, school is a place where you come to learn and not really interrupt everybody else. Okay, we got some questions that I can answer here. My day was okay. I had a couple things I had to deal with, like any day. Well, those are good challenges. So I just told myself, hey, it's good that I have to deal with some adversity because it helps me become a better person, a stronger person, somebody who's more experienced. But other than that, I had a good day. I got to see my daughters, and we had a little celebration for Valentine's. Sent my wife flowers, which is one of my favorite things to do. Um, and you know, good to go. We're good to go. Yeah, everything was pretty good. I think that's yeah. Then next we got was my opinion of the Super Bowl. I like the Super Bowl. I'm a defensive guy. I was a defensive coordinator. I played defense when I was playing, and so I thought it was a great defensive matchup. I enjoyed it. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we'll close it off. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe. Be smart. We'll see you here for the quiz tomorrow. Peace, everybody. God bless you. Yeah, something like that there.